streams are just, yeah. Oh, okay. It's working again. I just restarted the page on it, so give me 1 second. It should wake itself up. I don't know. YouTube's down for everyone? Okay, good. All right, so I thought I was taking it personally. Welcome to Twitch, everybody who is on YouTube.
80 million plus.
Please let them know to jump over on Twitch and say
Forgotten
hi.
men and women in this country who showed up to vote for him, who deserve to have their allegations heard by a court of law. To Rana's point, you had 687,000 ballots without poll watchers who were able to observe. They were a football.
That's not true. There were poll watchers there from Republicans and Democrats. They just weren't your campaign assholes who showed up with guns in their trunks. Across the streams. Maybe that's why I'm having YouTube stuff. Oh, yeah, look at that tip jar. I will empty that. Thank you. Watching YouTube right now. It's not true. It was never off. Probably was a backup channel. Oh, it popped back on. I redid it. Let's see. View event. We're back in the set because I'm seeing where it's not loading properly. I do see that where it's just kind of cycling through. It might be certain servers. So hard to say. They're doing everything they can to undermine me.
Feel away from observing. To your point, Sean, our Constitution is crystal clear that legislatures determine the time, manner, and place of an election. And then you have a hack Secretary of State and Secretary of State Bookvar in Pennsylvania who has tweeted horrible things about this president.
Well, so did Lindsey Graham.
Misrepresenting what she would do to ballots to the Supreme Court, only to then be rebuked by Justice Alito. The Constitution matters. These men and women matter.
She wasn't rebuked.
Their voices will be heard.
And for 4 years, we got nothing but the Democrats questioning an election with a phony, lying conspiracy theory coupled with their propaganda.
Where's Manafort right now? Where's Paul Manafort right now? What did he try to change about the RNC platform? Tell me about Paul Manafort. Tell me about him, Hannity. Go ahead. And by the way, while we're on it, this whole, they did this thing yesterday trying to, throw themselves in front of Carter Page for some reason. Carter Page was a physical courier for the Trump organization. He flew in-print physical letters to Putin and other Russians on behalf of the campaign. That's why they didn't have any evidence in the Mueller report about, that they couldn't find any emails that tied him to blah, blah, blah. Because he was the physical courier. He's a dumbass.
In the media mob, they lied to all of us.
No, they didn't.
We're not allowed to.
You did.
Make sure the integrity of the vote. That's an interesting argument on their side. Thank you.
No, that's not the argument at all. But thank you for misstating my argument. And while I'm at it, I would like to point out that Sean Hannity looks like the last living survivor of our gang. She looks like a Bratz doll, and Rona looks like the most Karen that's ever Karened in the history of Karening. I'm just saying. Christ. These friggin' people are just so gross. That's as much Hannity as I've watched in. That's a good choice. Motang mob mentality assembled. That's right. Bratz, glamour, and fame. YouTube is still down. Oh, let everybody know to hop over as best they can over to Twitch if you guys can. Just send them a message in there if you would. Is everybody, yeah, Twitch is still good. I will say that again, I have to thank the vast number of trolls that we have that bounce back and forth between, I have to shut off those other two windows or it's going to feed back. That bounce back and forth between Periscope and Facebook. It must be the easiest way. Oh, YouTube's back up. That's good news. That's why I was getting that feedback in my headphones. It's always hard to talk when said thing is happening. Oop, oop. It's not on mine, so I'll reopen it over there. But I will say, for the record, it's very inspiring to see them out there trying their damnedest and failing miserably at trolling. I know, but I have news for them. Trump's going to lose his legal battles. He's going to leave office. Biden is going to be the new president. He is the president-elect, and he will be sworn in on January 20th. And for the record, I do want them to do something, though. I do want to make sure that if they have the means and wherewithal, please donate to the Donald Trump Legal Defense Fund right now. Please give him money. Give him as much money as you have. Empty your bank account. He needs every dollar. I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve Hal's message. Give him every penny you can squeeze together. He's going to need it. These are going to be expensive cases. Jones Day does not work for free, unlike Rudy Giuliani. Please, please, for every maggot that's watching right now, give him every dime you have. I know 60% of it is going to retire campaign debt. But don't worry. The campaign debt largely that's going to, that's first in line is all the rental charges that his own property charged his own campaign. So make sure you get in there early. You don't want to be late in this. You don't want your money to, wait until he's paid off his debts to his own private company. You want to get in there early, so you make sure as much of your money goes to Mar-a-Lago, Bedminster, or the office space at Trump Tower. You need to get in now. And I know the fine print said 50-50. I know it said initially 50% is going to retire debt, 50% to the legal fund. That news is 3 days old. The number is now 60-40. So 40% will go to legal funds, 60% will go to retire campaign debt. So you are paying, after they've paid off however much Trump has given receipts to his own campaign about his own properties, which is a number he can pretty much just make up. But after that, it'll go to pay for bleachers and I guess Lee Greenwood sync rights, right? I mean, it must be expensive to play that song at the beginning. I mean, he's being sued by the Village People for the YMCA thing. So some of your money in the Legal Defense Fund might be going to the YMCA court case. But for the most of your money will be going to Mar-a-Lago and Bedminster, and probably his Scottish property as well. But some of it, I'm sure, they'll rub two nickels together and get them in Rudy Giuliani's pocket where he can fish around for him in front of a 15-year-old girl. No, I'm not. I'm just looking for some change. Please, though, please give every dime you can muster to the Donald J. Trump Legal Defense Fund. Please do. And anybody who is, if there are people in the feed and in the chat who are supporting Trump, please go follow them and try to get them. If you're another maggot, please, if you see anybody else, any other people who are not obviously happy with what I'm saying here today, who know the cost of freedom, follow them on Twitter and all the other sites and remind them daily, if not hourly, if not bi-hourly, that they should be giving their money to the Donald J. Trump Legal Defense Fund. Will Trump take wampum bucks? If you mail them seashells, I'm sure he will use them. Yeah, yes, good point. Chevy Nomad has a great point. If you don't have any maggots, if you don't have any money currently, if you're, I recommend taking out a loan. Don't worry about the interest rate. Trump will, after he wins, lower the interest rate to sub-zero so that they can print money at a faster clip. Take out a loan and give all of it. Marlboro Miles, is that still a thing? If it is, send them. Also, you're going to need a heavy envelope, but any spare change you have, mail it to the Trump Legal Defense Fund, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, care of Kayleigh McEnany. And whatever you do, do not put any. I know people have said this about like sanitizing the change before they send it. That's totally fine, but do not send talcum powder in there with it. It's a mistake. Yes, and if you have any Goya food products, any food that they don't have to buy is more money added to the Trump campaign's legal defense fund. So mail them beans. Preferably, the cans are heavy, and Trump is obviously afraid of cans.
That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick. It's too heavy.
Yeah, he doesn't want the cans of soup.
Soup for my family.
He doesn't want that. You've got to mail him bags of uncooked beans. Or cook them. Maybe you can help. Send him mail bags of twice cooked beans in whatever format you think he would enjoy. Yeah, take out a second mortgage and make sure that those folks get everything that they possibly could need right out of your pocket. Yeah, kids, do not send Monopoly money to the Donald J. Trump Legal Defense Fund, but make sure your parents do. If you're underage and you're a kid right now, make sure you bug your parents to send. I'm kidding. Children don't do this. I can't. That's as far as I can go. I can't start toenail clippings. Some people will take that as maybe there's a. I wouldn't doubt that Steve Miller, he reeks of a foot fetishist. Maybe he'll take that in lieu of pay. So mailing them toenails, to try and save that. Yeah, send them some ramen noodles. There's a college student in charge of, I think, the FDA at this point. So, they'll do that. I think that's super good. Yeah, Bazooka Joe bubblegum wrappers. That's how they got soupy sales? I see. Wait, isn't it wampum made from cow pies? No, it is not. But if it is where you come from, there's nothing, I guess legally you can still mail them. If you believe it to be currency, no matter what it is, you can mail it. If you know what I mean? Yeah, fingernails, toenails. I don't know that anybody takes fingernails. I would stick to toenails, honestly. I mean, come on, people. Don't talk crazy. I'm sorry. I'm serious. Come on, guys. Get serious about having fun. We need to send them. We need to help them out. The Legal Defense Fund needs everything it can get. So I say to you, maggots and Trumpsters who are out there, please, by all means, send every single dime you possibly can to the Donald J. Trump Legal Defense Fund. You can. I'm sure you know the website. It's I don't think, by the way, we are going to get. Let's see. Oh, that's terrible. There's so much to this. Transition battle heats up. There's like. This is literally, today was his first personal appearance, like outside in, is it 6 days or 5 days? 6 days? Yeah. Except golf. I don't count golf. No one counts golf. Yeah. Guys, cereal box tops if they result in a prize. Yeah, Game of Life cash, I would take that. I'm taking my money and buying a Switch game. I think that's probably best. Yeah. send Russian and Mexican money? No. They will not accept Russian money unless it's funneled through Deutsche Bank. If you want to send German bearer bonds via Deutsche Bank to the Trump organization, that's fine. But be careful you don't end up like Eddie Murphy's friend in Beverly Hills Cop, because that's the last person I know of who traded in Deutsche bearer bonds, in German bearer bonds, and it did not work out well. You should sound like Ventura in one of your shows. Listen, we need America right now. Understand this, that as I was the governor of Minnesota, I took an elevator that went down under the earth. All right. GameStop store credit, never. Those you keep for yourself. Indian rupees. I would just send curry. I'm sure it will be lovingly accepted. Have we got a new Rudy video? Wow, we might need to fill his because I want to know if he actually like got ill. Oh, here we go. 21 minutes ago. Oh, sweetness. Hot off the purses. Oh, it doesn't look like it's coming up very fast though. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. You can't send Trump Cheetos. He will bite his own fingers. It happens. What's happening? I see it in there. There it is. There you go. Rudy Giuliani. Why, Rudy? Why in the world? Why is this taking so long? I will say that, is that an Apple iPad? Why have you fallen to big tech, Rudy Giuliani? That better turn out to be a knockoff from, like a Russian knockoff, or I will lose total faith. Yeah, Ron Klain as the White House Chief of Staff, that makes sense. Somebody capable. Where's Hunter? I don't know. Where's Bill Barr? Where's Eric's deposition? What? It's Hunter's iPad, the Mac laptop from 2004 that he magically found someplace. Play. What's wrong with you? I got to reload the page. Is that what's happening? Tuck it in, tuck it in. YouTube is down right now. Figures. Yeah, weird. There's something. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Since we got 7 minutes left, we'll just hang out for the rest of today's show, and I'll have this alternate source. Yeah, I don't know that there is one unless he puts it on his website, but I think he just puts it. Yeah, where is John Jay? That's an excellent point. I thought John Jay was gonna. Land his Piper Cub at the last rally. Well, thanks, Sarah. Sent me a video on Twitter. Okay, excellent. Yeah, they must be having severe issues. Would you mind saying hi to my best friend, Robert, please? He's a fan of yours on Queer as Folk. Absolutely. Hi, Robert. How are you? Be proud. Hello. I'm playing Miles Morales, Spider-Man later on. Awesome. Hal, it's John. I'm sorry. Yeah, yes, John was spotted by a poll watcher watching the polls. Sent you a tweeter. Okay, okay. I think this. All drop boxes were closed and locked at 8 p.m. on election night, and ballots were collected the following day. These are valid ballots that will be processed and counted during the post-election canvass like any outstanding ballot. Okay, so this is the reference to the video. Oh, look. This is the video that Trump put up. And oh, this is good. All right. So here we go. See, there we go. This was in reply to the video that was posted. This is from November 5th. So that's when that video went up. So they posted it the day, basically November 4th is when they were gathering stuff. We're closed and locked on 8 p.m. on election night. Ballots were collected the following day. Right. So on the 4th, she went and videotaped people. They already called the state that night. Why are you still gathering shit? Right. These are valid ballots that will be processed and counted during the post-election canvass, like all outstanding vote-by-mail ballots. John was seen walking into Fantasy Island bookstore, but was he ever seen walking out? I don't think so. I picked the wrong week to stop sniffing glue, right? Yeah, is that the video you guys were talking about? Because let's see, I'll look in here. Let's see. Hold on. Uh-huh. Roll back completely. Just look at the profiles. I'm trying to find the video that you guys sent. It's all the websites are slow. Something's going on. Some noisy stuff going on in the internet. I did not watch, by the way. This is kind of amazing. It's not very long, but the Jon Voight video. This is now our greatest fight since the Civil War, the battle of righteousness versus Satan. Yes, Satan. Yes, Satan. Because these leftists are evil.
I stand here with all that feel as I do, disgusted with this lie.
He's sitting.
That Biden has been chosen.
He was elected.
As if we all don't know the truth.
We do know the truth. He was elected.
And when one tries to deceive, we know that one can't get away with it. There will be a price to pay.
Is there somewhere in there, what webs we weave when we practice to deceive? Is that where we were going and we just bailed on the quote altogether? Yeah, he's... don't deceive me about you standing when you're obviously sitting. It's just rude.
The ones who are jumping for joy now are jumping toward the horror they will be in for.
The horror. The horror.
Because I know that the promises being made from the left to the American people will never come to be.
Oh, well, then why are you worried?
My friends of all colors, races, and religions, this is now our greatest fight since the Civil War.
Yikes.
The battle of righteousness versus Satan. Yes, Satan.
Yes, Satan.
Because these leftists are evil.
Yeah, but, I mean, they have the power of Satan behind them? Why is Satan going for free healthcare?
Corrupt.
Oy.
And they want to tear down this nation. We must not allow this. We must fight this corruption that has taken over and fight for the good that seems lost.
Ugh.
Let us give our trust
to the notes that I have written off to the left. Let us give our trust in the... Dude, Gary, stop moving across the camera. Which way am I supposed to look? Over here? I know I'm an actor and I normally memorize lines, but this is... They just made the phone call. I have to turn this in by 7:30 or they're not going to pay me.
To God. And fight now for Trump's victory, because we all know this ballot count is corruption like they are. So let us...
Is that a sentence?
not back down. Let us fight this fight as if it
Till
is...
we can't till we can't fight this feeling anymore. And I can't fight this feeling anymore. Jesus. Yes, Satan? When did Jon Voight turn into the church lady? Yeah, you have to at least pre-read it.
last fight on earth.
What?
As Muhammad Ali said,
What?
it's not over till the last punch you have.
Wait. I don't think that's a Muhammad Ali quote. Honest to God, Muhammad Ali was a very amazing, articulate dude. A lot of his stuff rhymed. It was poetic. It's not over until the last punch you have. What? Oh, God. Horrifying. Hello? And by the way, I don't think, whoops, let me open this. I feel kind of bad for Jon Voight, a little bit, because he seems a bit spun. Now, I know you have to understand, he's the guy who raised a daughter who said, you know, her brother was a great French kisser and wore a vial of his blood around her neck. Or was that Billy Bob's blood? I mean, come on. Just saying. That's some straight up weird shit. Oh, thanks for the Venmo, Whitney. Thank you so much. Thanks. I appreciate that, for all the love on Facebook. That quote, I think it was Muhammad Ali who said, I'm punching until sometime after 7:30, but I can't punch any more than that without, is there a reason I'm punching? It was something like that. I mean, I know I'm paraphrasing. It was like the great Buddy Rich, who said, timing is drum playing whenever you can, at much and when it's appropriate to the piece of moment that you're actually on the drum. Remember that? Yeah, it seems like he's being used thoroughly. So yeah. Okay, and I'm looking for the video, guys, that you might have tweeted to me. Streaming through the videos that are being put up on my site, and a lot of it is, is that the Paula White heavy metal video? I'd play that, but I'll get kicked off YouTube as quick as I was on there. He did have some good quotes. It's true. Yep. Nope. Not finding it. Oh well. Sometime in the near future. A stack of messages from foreign leaders to President-elect Joe Biden are sitting at the State Department, but the Trump administration is preventing him from accessing them, sources say. Traditionally, state supports all communications for the president-elect. Well, they're, of course, not going to. That's from CNN, by the way. Understand this. They're going to piss and moan and flail about, and what would you expect? they don't like the country. They don't. They hate democracy. That's why they keep hammering the whole republic thing. Hey, Al, are you getting some rest? You worked your ace off? I did indeed. Why would a racist quote black man that's supposed to be pumping up Trump's base? I don't know. I mean, we know also that video that they released is basically a knockoff of those, like, you know, YouTube inspiration videos. Let's see if there's any new news. This was, I think, my favorite thing of the day. New York Times, election officials nationwide find no fraud. They're looking. They're not finding any. They still have all these states that have stuff going on where the votes are still being counted. That's all going by the wayside. But, you know, as far as the major news, but they're putting, you know, they've got updates constantly on here. Georgia's going to do a hand recount of 4 million votes. By the end of it, Biden will have the exact same or a greater lead than he has now. Yeah, Alaska was called. North Carolina was called. Here you go. CNN and factcheck.org. Thousands of dead people did not cast votes in Michigan or Pennsylvania, CNN factcheck.org report. CNN's analysis of a viral claim suggesting that thousands of cases of ballots being cast in the name of the deceased did not find a single incidence of that happening. A single one. Claims have also circulated suggesting that dead people cast ballots in Pennsylvania. However, election experts say that while that occasionally happens, it is exceedingly rare. Meaning that people cast a ballot and then die. No evidence that 14,000 dead people cast ballots in Wayne County. My CNN colleagues looked into 50 of the names on a viral MAGA list, supposedly showing 14,000 Michigan cases of ballots being cast in the name of dead people. Result, 37 are dead, no vote cast. 5 are alive and voted. 8 are alive and didn't vote. So these 5 right here, this is kind of crucial. Those people were listed as dead on the voter rolls when they were not. So the Republican list of voters that they're claiming are dead, those people would be disenfranchised by their choice. An extremely common reason that people with suspiciously long ago birthdays like 1900, 1901 are listed as having voted, they're alive and much younger. They're just given a default birth date in the voter system. Here it is. Other videos Fletcher produced featured voters who returned ballots and are listed in Michigan's voter information website as having been born in January 1900 or 1901. Of course, that's not what happened. There's a much simpler and less sinister explanation. Detroit's director of elections, and I mean, I've already explained this to you guys, but just in case, for the cheap seats, George Azuz, which is a great name, both at the front of and at the end of being called for lunch in elementary school, explained to CNN that the date of January 1st, 1900 is often used in the electronic poll book as a temporary placeholder for absentee ballots arriving just before Election Day. The placeholder information has to be inserted in order for the electronic poll book to accept the entry. A 2017 report about duplicate voting from the Government Accountability Office Institute echoed this explanation as well. It is important to note that some state registration systems indicate a missing date of birth by adopting filler dates, such as 01/01/1900, 01/01/1850, or 01/01/1800, the report noted. Donna Bridges, despite being 75 years old, has a voter registration entry with a 1901 year of birth. Catherine Lewis, a clerk for the township where Bridges lives, explained to CNN that it is not uncommon for voters in Michigan to have an 01/01/01 mistakenly listed as their date of birth in the qualified voter database. The voter in question properly applied for an absentee ballot, provided her state-issued driver's license with her application, and returned her absentee ballot in the properly signed and sealed envelope as required by state law, Lewis said in a statement. The Board of Election Inspectors, consisting of Republican and Democratic members, had no question that the voter was who she purported to be or that her signatures matched. So again, all that bullshit we heard from Rona and from Kayleigh McEnany, This is what they're talking about. This is the case they're making. This is the case that's going to be made tonight on Tucker Carlson. This is all the same bullshit. You're touching your eye, and my kid's in all voice, right? Oh yeah? Well, I'm crushing your head. I'm crushing your head. This in and of itself, like, for crying out loud. I'll retweet this right now. Ahem. Oh, and by the way, since they brought up the number 1850, this is how I'm going to close out. I know we're going over a little bit today, but I want to show you something. So in the moving, I've found a bunch of cool stuff. Stuff that's been boxed away forever, stuff that was deep sixed in my storage, and I now have a place to bring it out and put it in the office, those kind of things. And I want to show you guys one thing that I was looking for before, but it turned out it was in storage. So if you'll give me a second, I'm going to grab something. And this is kind of amazing to me. So this is a book that my grandfather had, that I've had since he passed. This is a history book that my grandfather has had, that had his whole life. And it's kind of like, it's got these old hand drawings in it. It was printed, I got to be very careful with the pages. But like Anne Chamberlain owned this book. She got it July 10th, 1934. This I keep in remembrance of Anson Chamberlain, Adu Domine 1892. Or at hold on, pages are going to stick together. Adu Domine would be before Christ. Hold on, get past these pictures, and I want to show you something. Yeah, so this is a let's see if we can pull it back here. But the writing on this is the description. This is the name of the book itself. And the name of the book is A Universal History of the United States, embracing the whole period from the earliest discoveries down to present time, giving a description of the Western country, its void, settlements, increase in population, etc., in 3 parts by C.B. Taylor, Buffalo, New York, published by Ezra Strong, stereotyped by James Gunner, 1834 was when this was first published, this book. Yeah, Adu Domine is the year of our Lord. Yeah. Okay, that's what it is. Yeah. Literally, like, this is the bookmark that was in it from, it says, "We're winning in Kentucky," from Governor Wilkinson. It's a bookmark from his campaign. I'll just pick a sort of, we'll open it up at kind of at random, and I'll read you a passage of what it was like. The justice of this measure, which appeared so clear to the British Parliament, was regarded in America as oppression and tyranny, and occasioned great excitement and alarm. The deceptive pretension that the revenue was to be raised for the purpose of protecting the colonies was only adding insult to injustice, as the colonies supposed they were capable of protecting themselves, and they apprehended that the object was rather under the presence of affording them protection to maintain a military force in America for the purpose of dragooning them into submission and enforcing an unconstitutional system of taxation. This is about the Boston Tea Party. Thereby rendering them the instruments of forging their own chains. This is about the Tax Act of... this act was rendered more disgusting by a provision that the money raised by it must be paid in specie, and another that those charged with having violated the revenue laws might be prosecuted in the courts of admiralty, whereby they were deprived of the privilege of trial by jury, meaning that they would use the British would try people on their boats so that they would technically be on British land. In the courts of admiralty, whereby they were deprived of the privilege of trial by jury and were liable to be condemned by a single officer of the crown whose salary was to be paid from the very forfeitures decreed by himself. And this was not all, or even the worst, as the trial was conducted on such principles that the accused, contrary to the well-known maxims of common law and repugnant to every idea of justice, was obliged to prove himself innocent and suffer the penalties of law. So you were guilty until proven innocent under the laws of admiralty that the Brits were putting. These iniquitous proceedings destroyed all security of property and left everyone at the mercy of the minions of the British Crown. Their pernicious influence was soon felt extensively in the colonies. They no longer regarded Great Britain as an affectionate mother, but viewed her in the light of a selfish, cruel, and imperious stepmother. That's how history was written in 1834. The book, the title of the book is A Universal History of the United States of America, embracing the whole period from the earliest discoveries to the present time. It's by the author is C.B. Taylor. And the book was written in 1834. This book has been through hell. It has been in floods. It has been in libraries. It has been in my grandparents' home. It has a pressed flower in it that just fell out. This is, and it's nothing short of amazing. And I want to say something to all the people who think that the left shits on this country or takes lightly the history of this country on the left and allows for that pernicious lie to be carried forth without any rebuttal. This book, however, aligned with prose of the times, is a document of history and the real human beings who fought tooth and nail to establish a country, live through all this stuff, and the well-balanced reality that they went through. Raised in the time they were raised, believing the things that they believed, still seeking a better country than that they had left. And as they limped through it, imagine yourself leaving the United States or Canada or any of the Western European countries right now, and imagining for yourself a better form of country, a better system of government, wherein people are more represented, wherein everyone has the rights and privileges of everyone else. Now imagine that you're starting that from scratch and there was no version of it that existed on the planet. And imagine the forces aligned against you to stop it and the space on Earth not to carry it forth. And imagine that you are born into an era where black people, natives, and Indians and Irish are enslaved with regular order. And that was considered normal your entire life. It never occurred to you otherwise. Where people were often denied the ability to read simply because they would go off and read the Bible on their own, and the Catholic Church itself setting up the Jesuits to stop people for centuries. Your own parents were illiterate if you ever learned to read yourself. And then look back from 2020 with your phone in your hand and tell me that you would have the moral conviction, strength, character, and forethought to create a system like this. There is an enormous amount of ego involved in people looking back on American history and the fight to create this country as it is, and how the other Western democracies dovetailed off the democratic systems, using only parts of them, by the way, where people look back and go, well, I mean, they could have just, why didn't they just, how come they didn't just, everything was tried. And all the good that could be squeezed out of that time was created. All the good that was possible in 1776 happened. And that's why there's a future. And if we weren't assholes yesterday, we wouldn't need tomorrow. Have some respect for the reality of your own ancestors and the good and bad that they did in their lives, and the belief that they were doing the best they could with the information and the life they'd led. In the same way that we now know an abuser will raise, people who continue to abuse unless that's arrested in the middle of it. All the things we know right now that we take for granted were built on the backs and blood of everybody who went before. And Veterans Day is a good day to remember that. So, giving no ground to the right-wing assholes out there who want to claim all the good and none of the evil done in the history of mankind for themselves, when they would, left to their own devices, only recreate the evil. They can kiss my ass. But to all the people who shrug off the extraordinary nature of the birth of this country and its fight to end slavery and its ultimately being able to do it, and the continued work we all need to do, because look at our country right now and look at the division that's around it, and the people, who are on, there are Hispanics and black people who voted for Donald Trump this time around. Humanity is not perfect. So have some respect for history and reality. Know that you're only alive because at some point in your family tree, somebody did something really sketchy to stay alive. And if you can't extend that charity that you would naturally extend to preserve your own existence to your own family members, you should be able to extend it to every other human being on the planet. And this is where you give people an off-ramp if they're being awful. And if they don't take it, fine. But you always make that effort out of recognition that this book and other books like it were burned to hide the reality of what people went through just to make a country that, while it was failing in its origins, set in motion a governmental system and a rule of law that allowed for the president and vice president we have today. A vice president who served under the first black president and the first black vice president, first woman, first Indian American to serve as vice president. You don't get to skip bars on the ladder just because you don't like them. So that's my sermon for today on Veterans Day. There are stories in this. One of the first times, and I'll see if I can find it for next time. There's a story in this book about George Washington holding a dying soldier as he passed away, and as told through the history, the game of telephone. There's a story of him weeping as this 15-year-old kid who was fighting in the Revolutionary War, 15-year-old child, passed away in his arms. Thanks for writing that down, Shmooby. C.B. Taylor, A Universal History of the United States of America. Check your, if you can't stand Trump's ego, make sure you check your own. in that regard. Anyways, Artslin, did you send a Venmo? Yes. Thank you, Donna. And thank you. Yeah. Whoops. Did that one come up? Was that your last one? Thank you. Is Twitch glitchy? I don't know. I appreciate it, Moby. Moby? Yeah. This is crucial. And it's crucial when you're conversing with your fellow Americans and people all over the world, and you recognize that right now there is slavery going on in Eritrea. There's slavery going on in multiple countries in Africa and in South America. Actual chattel slavery. Continuing to this day. There's still female genital mutilation and foot binding and all kinds of horrible stuff. And there is, within our borders, people attempting to limit the rights of women and minorities still to this day. The human brain hasn't evolved much in 125,000 years. It is important that we craft it with as much goodness and goodwill as we possibly can every single day. Now, that said, I will mock faux leaders like Trump incessantly, but this is why this book and others like it are why I will always give the maggots and Trumpsters an off-ramp to join the rest of humanity. There you go. So I love you guys. I appreciate you guys being in the chat room with me every day. I will see you tomorrow. I'll have some Rudy for us to go through if he doesn't have COVID. I'm waiting, as many people are, for Trump to say his first words. I was expecting it would take a week, and still nothing. So maybe it's a week from when it's called. It might be Saturday by the time he actually speaks in public again. But I don't see him. They're saying they want to get him out to do rallies. I don't buy it. Oh, thanks very much for retweeting the video. I'll look at it. The polls are. Yeah. So, anyways, thank you guys as well. I was so excited to find this book, and I'll read pieces of it in future too. And I will be on Stuttering John's podcast tomorrow at noon-ish, whenever he has me. I think he starts at noon Pacific time. And then Friday I'll be on Scott Dworkin's podcast, which is just an audio one. That's when we're recording it. I think he probably releases it same day, but I don't know. So I'll put that up as well. So, this is, this is, the polls were to calm as what? They are waiting on a total of country. Those polls are to calm his base down. I don't doubt it. YouTube is down worldwide. Good to know. Oh, it's going to be sealed, believe me, the rest of the time. But books are to be, in my family, we feel about books the way we feel about musical instruments. They are not to be hung on a wall and forgotten about. They are to be played and read. They have worth in their use, not in their existence. I'm sure someone in something has the book is on Kindle. Excellent. So, yeah. Why Stuttering Johnny's a well, I'm his technical advisor apparently now, and he's a good dude. He's been fighting the good fight. So yes, it's to make a deal for people showed up at Stop the Steal Trump. No one showed. Yeah. George Washington also asked the homosexual Prince of Prussia to be our monarch prior to the revolution, right? Get a newer copy if it wears out. I'll look for one. I'll look for a newer one so I can read it without having to worry too much about this one. But yeah, anyways, I love you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Don't forget, tomorrow, since it's Thursday, I'm on at 4 o'clock. My time, not 3 o'clock. It's an hour later because we do our family COVID gathering on our Zoom call, FaceTime kind of thing. So thanks for being understanding. and I'll be on at 4. If it goes long, I'm sometimes a little later just because it's family, and I'm not going to cut it off for that. But more than likely, I'll be on at the regular time, 4 o'clock tomorrow. And like I said, I'll be on Jon's podcast at noonish. So take care of yourself, take care of somebody else, and don't worry, we got this. Biden's going to be sworn in on the 20th. It's going to be a good time, and we're all going to look back in like 3 years at the Trump years, like the weird, bizarre, ridiculous anomaly. It'll be like a nightmare during a nap. But for everybody except the 8,800 kids they dropped on the other side of the border and the 666 children they can't find their parents for, that's got to be taken care of. There's going to be a lot of work to be done, but once we do it, it'll get done once we're in there. So anyways, take care of yourself. Take care of somebody else. I'll see you tomorrow. You guys are wonderful. Just breathing into this. I've yet to name the theme song, which I wrote this for the show. I'm writing another one as well, so we can rotate a couple of through. But I was asked what the name of it was and where you could find it. You can't. I wrote it. So I just made it with some loops and some keyboard stuff. And it's a good time. So I hope you enjoy it every day when you hear it. All right. Take care, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.
Just follow the money.
That was really cool, by the way.
I'm telling you straight. It's my way or the highway. So anybody wants to walk, do it now.
I'm your huckleberry.
I'm rich and I'm dead sexy.
Call me Snake.
Like the guy says, you're gonna eat lightning and you're gonna crap thunder.
I'm just a happy camper.
Hail to the king, baby.
It's good to be the king.
Groovy. Groovy.
All I'm offering is the truth.
Beef jerky?
Oh, no, son, thank you very much. No, it gives me the wind, something terrible.
Oh.
Sorry, I farted.
Heat! Hand! Now!
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
You lied to me.
Let me put it this way, Mr. Amer. The 9000 series is the most reliable computer ever made. No 9000 computer has ever made a mistake or distorted information. We are all, by any practical definition of the words, foolproof and incapable of error.
Dr. Evil!
I'd like to kick his ass just once.
I think there's some kind of deviated prevert.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
You are physically repulsive, intellectually retarded, vulgar, insensitive, selfish, stupid. You have no taste, a lousy sense of humor, and you smell.
He's you real nice. If I didn't have puke breath, I'd kiss you.
Bring out your dead! and gentlemen, welcome to my underground lair. Wah wah wee wah!
To be a moron, to be Morocco, an imbecile, like the dumbest motherfucker that ever lived.
Just the facts, ma'am.
I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
Sportos, motorheads, geeks, sluts, bloods, wastoids, dweebies, dickheads. They all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude.
They don't like the gas.